Why is Jennifer Gibson's portrayal of Ms. Grundy being voted as the worst comic book lookalike? Did KJ Appa's love for fitness ultimately ruin his portrayal of Archie? And how did the pressure to look like Veronica Lodge affect Camila Mendes' mental health? Hi, I'm Janet. Ms. Grundy. Have you ever wondered just how accurate Riverdale is when compared to the original comic book Archie? Well, wonder no more, because we are doing the ultimate Riverdale versus Archie comic book battle to see whom of the cast members is most like their original character, starting with Ms. Grundy. Spoiler alert, the woman that we see on Riverdale is no Ms. Grundy. So if you aren't a comic fanatic or have yet to do a deep dive into all things Riverdale, then you are in for quite a surprise. When we met Ms. Grundy, who was played by the incredibly gorgeous Jennifer Gibson, we were rather confused. Now, there are only 2 instances where the producers of Riverdale stayed true to the OG Ms. Grundy. In both the series and the comic, the high school teacher changes her name and her identity to escape her abusive ex-husband. They also both end up having a rather scandalous relationship with Archie Andrews after she admired his talent. Yeah, let's go with talent, shall we? Regardless, those 2 storylines are the only things that are exactly alike in the comic version of Ms. Grundy. In the comic, Ms. Grundy is actually significantly older. In fact, on several different occasions, she had issues with her wig falling off. Yup, Ms. Grundy is meant to be totally bald. Now, if we're being completely honest, we're pretty sure that it wouldn't be as intriguing to watch Archie hook up with the original comic version of Ms. Grundy. Perhaps producers thought that it might have been too shocking for Archie to be hooking up with an old woman. So, if we had to rate how well Riverdale in terms of portraying Ms. Grundy in comparison to the comic, we'd have to rate them a 2 out of 10. While we think that Jennifer did an amazing job playing Ms. Grundy, she isn't exactly like the original comic. But funny enough, we kind of like it that way. Archie Andrews. If we are talking about Ms. Grundy, it only makes sense that we talk about her love interest, who we are all admittedly rather obsessed with. Watching KJ Appa take on the role of Archie has been one of the best things to happen to the series. And while we can't get enough of Archie Andrews, the truth is that when it comes to his comic book character, Appa doesn't fit the bill. Let's look at the biggest difference. Well, in the comics, Archie is still an athlete, but he isn't exactly ripped. His build is rather average, actually. But as we know, KJ is incredibly chiseled, which we aren't complaining about. But if we're to stick to the original comic, the 2 just aren't the same. And people noticed. Some fans are keen on all of the muscles, while others are saying that Appa wrecked the character by going rogue and getting fit. But let the record show that Appa doesn't care. He loves strength training and boxing and isn't stopping for anyone. His favorite workout? Boxing at Wild Card West Boxing Gym that is owned by film director Peter Berg. Because boxing is ultimately a short workout, Appa loved to get a session in between filming. Okay, so besides choosing to go for a rather fit frame, it isn't Appa's body that's the only thing that's different from his comic book character. Appa's hair color isn't exactly accurate either. While we all know that he dyes his hair in order to get that deep orange that we all love, his hair is actually a lot darker than that of the comic version. So it's clear that Appa's jacked body isn't like the comic. And if we're nitpicking here, his hair isn't the perfect shade of orange either, which makes his portrayal a little unrealistic. Sorry. Archie stans, please don't come for us. We still love him. Let us know what you would rate him out of 10 in the comment section below. Veronica Lodge. Alright, before we get into the battle of in real life Veronica versus the comic version, did you know that Camila originally wasn't going to audition for the role? Because the comic version of her character was white? Yup. Mendes, who is Brazilian, thought it wouldn't be a good fit. But they were determined to get Camila, and she eventually signed on. Thank goodness. Now, if we were to compare her to the comic book version of Veronica, she's actually pretty spot on. You know, minus the bangs. Other than that, they both have strikingly dark hair and gorgeous eyes that win everyone over. The only major difference between the two Veronicas is their ethnicity, with Mendes being from Latin descent, which is something that she's happy to bring to the table. It's rare that you see Latin families being portrayed as intelligent, sophisticated, and powerful entities, said Mendes. But here's where things get ugly. Turns out that some internet trolls are saying that there is one other difference between Mendes and her comic book character, and their comments are harsh. According to the actress, online bullies claimed that the comic book version of Veronica, who is known for having a slender and tall figure, looks nothing like Mendes' body. Opening up about how people compare her real-life body shape to that of her comic book character affected her. Mendes says that it completely broke her. It also fed into her poor sense of self-image, which is something that Camila has been dealing with for quite a while. Chatting to Glamour magazine, the 26-year-old actress shared that she struggled with an eating disorder for a number of years. The constant comparisons, degrading, and online bullying definitely got to her. But she's taking her power back, calling out all of the trolls and reminding everyone how toxic it is to compare your body to unrealistic comic book-sized bodies. And we could not agree more. If you are enjoying this video or want to get exclusive deets on all of your favorite characters, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We have some awesome content coming up. Don't say we didn't warn you. Toni Topaz. Let's throw it right back to Season 2, when we were first introduced to Toni Topaz, the kick-ass future girlfriend of Cheryl Blossom. She's fun, spunky, and has hair to absolutely die for. Brought to life by actress Vanessa Morgan, it seems that people are loving her as Toni. But that doesn't exactly mean she looks exactly like her comic book version. If you were to purchase the comic, you'll notice that there is one major difference between Vanessa's portrayal and the original: her hair. In the comic, Toni rocks a much shorter do, and her shorter haircut has also been completely dyed purple. But as we know, Vanessa's hair is significantly longer and only has a few streaks of pink in it. But don't think that ignoring her character's hairstyle was Vanessa's idea. She absolutely loves the idea of chopping her hair for her character so that she looks more like her comic book version. Next season, I really want to go back to her being a bit edgier because I think people really liked that, and it's super fun. I'm debating chopping her hair next season, said Morgan. But as we know, that final decision is up to the show's creator, Roberto Aguirre Sacasa. Besides her hair length and the lack of excessive hair dye, in the comic, Toni is often seen wearing her signature cap that matches her killer outfits. But the same can't be said for the Riverdale version of Toni Topaz. In terms of accuracy, Vanessa is pretty spot on, except for the whole cap and outfit ensemble that's missing, and the short haircut. But other than that, we are super obsessed. Betty Cooper. She's blonde, she's sweet, and she has the perfect ponytail. While Lili Reinhart, aka Betty Cooper, has yet to give us a YouTube tutorial on how she gets her signature ponytail, we can't help but notice just how close she looks to her comic book character. The only major differences between the two are the fact that in the comic, Betty has super yellow hair, which we don't exactly blame Lili for avoiding. Comic book Betty also rocks a bang, which is noticeably missing from Riverdale's Betty. Now, much like her co-star Camila Mendes, it seems that people are pointing out that Reinhart's body doesn't exactly match that of her comic book characters. And we know, the comic book girls have rather unrealistic body shapes. They are known for their exceptionally small waists, long thin legs, and curvy upper bodies. No one really looks like that. But apparently, when you are on a show that is based on a comic, people expect you to look exactly like that. And Lili won't stand for it. She even took to Twitter to talk about body image in a since-deleted tweet. In the post, she says that she won't be taking any negativity regarding her body anymore. In fact, she even shared how people hounding her Instagram comments, saying that she is too fat to play Betty, made her self-conscious, especially during scenes where she had to be in her underwear. I felt very insecure due to the expectation that people have for women on TV, what they should look like, shared Reinhardt. But we think that Lili is perfect in her portrayal of Betty. Kevin Keller. Look, the truth is that we cannot imagine any other actor playing the role of Kevin Keller other than Casey Cott. I mean, can we just take a moment to reflect on how amazing his portrayal is? And while we cannot deny Cott's acting abilities, we have to rate him pretty low when we compare him to the comic book version of Kevin Keller. Now, it may seem kind of small, but we have to look at all of the differences. And we cannot ignore the fact that Cott has green eyes, whilst his comic book character has striking blue eyes. In the comics, Kevin also has blonde hair that actually matches his best friend Betty's. But as we know, it seems that Casey is more than happy rocking his natural brown hair, even if it isn't exactly true to his comic book character. Jughead. With a known obsession for food, hello hamburgers, it's clear that Jughead was always meant to be the silly bestie in the comic series. Well, that version of Jughead only lives in between the pages of the famous comic. In the show, it's clear that Jughead is anything but humorous. Besides the lack of excessive humor, Cole is kind of a spitting image of Jughead. Both versions rock the same beanie, although Cole's is slightly less pointy. They also have their signature squint that they often do and have the exact same dark hair color. But there is one major difference that we have to point out. Riverdale's Jughead is missing a Pinocchio-styled nose, which Sprouse doesn't have. Other than that, he definitely nailed it. Cheryl Blossom. Did you know that in the Archie comics, Cheryl plays a much smaller role? Yeah, she is actually a supporting character and a romantic rival for Archie. But it seems that when it comes to Riverdale, the producers of the series really wanted Cheryl to blossom. See what we did there? Anyway, we cannot deny that Maddie's natural red hair definitely helps in her portrayal of Cheryl, who is also a natural redhead. The only differences are the fact that in the comic, Cheryl has green eyes, whilst Petsch has brown eyes. Much like her co-stars, Petsch's comic character also rocks a signature bang, which we know Petsch doesn't have in the series. But all in all, we're rather impressed by how close Maddie looks to her comic book version of Cheryl. We want to know your thoughts on what the Riverdale cast members should have looked like. Who do you think looks the most like their comic book character? And who doesn't? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.